So Kilkenny 237, Wexford 229. This is the match reaction, of course, after the game where Kilkenny have beaten Wexford, of course, and sealed their place into a Leinster final against Dublin, of course. Recording this at half-time of the Cork-Limerick game. Obviously, the game went to extra time, so I had to try and fit this in somewhere along the way. Wow. What a game this was. This was classic hurling, wasn't it? This was vintage hurling. This is vintage hurling at its absolute best, championship hurling. This is what we want to see. This is what we all come to watch hurling for. That's, and having fans back as well, and the atmosphere and everything else. It was just, it was absolutely brilliant. It really, really was. What a just thrilling game between these two. It really went down to the wire. You had goals, you had penalties, extra time, Hawkeye getting involved as well. Both sides were actually level in total 15 different times throughout the entirety of this game, which really shows that, either county really at any given stage of the game could have easily went on and won the game. And it was interesting because at times when Wexford went 3 points up, Kilkenny would then come back, and then Wexford would gain the ascendancy and hit 3 points, and then Kilkenny would come back. There was a lot of different point swings where, Kilkenny would hit 6 points in a row, Wexford would respond with 6 in a row. It was absolutely mad. It really, really was. And like in particular for Kilkenny, I think, their shooting today was absolutely brilliant. Like just looking at some stats I have here, from the 50 total shots that they had, 78% of them went over the bar. They scored 39 of 50 opportunities that they created, and 26 of them were from play that went over the bar. So like Kilkenny were fantastic today in front of goal. And I think ultimately really where Wexford fell short, in my opinion, was because of the running game that Wexford play. Wexford had to really work for every score throughout the entirety of the game, whereas Kilkenny, with their own style of play, hitting it long into the likes of your TJ Reeds or, Owen Cody, who was in there, Kilkenny always just had a bit more energy. And I think in particular in extra time, that was the main reason why Kilkenny pulled away. I think Wexford were just dead on their feet at that point, and they really had given absolutely everything to win the game, or at least to get back into the game, of course, when they hit that late point in extra time. It was a mad kind of situation towards the end as well. It looked like in particular that the game was, it looked like Wexford had won the game, of course, when Rory O'Connor got it. I think it was Liam Ryan, who hit the point, and it went over the bar. And then in the end, Rory O'Connor got on the rebound. Owen Murphy hit it straight against him, went into the back of the net. And you were thinking, Wexford have got this game won. It's wrapped up. It's finished. It's done. But that wasn't the case. In the end, of course, it was a point. Hawkeye went and had a look, and it went to extra time. And in particular, like just looking through some of the scores on the day before we, I know there's a few comments coming in there. We'll read them out now in a few minutes. But Kilkenny in particular, like TJ Reid with 16 points, but Owen Cody was phenomenal, wasn't he? Man of the match in many ways, 1-5, got that goal as well. It looked like at that point that the game was pretty much wrapped up. It was a long puck out by Owen Murphy. Owen Cody got on the end of it. And it was actually a very similar goal to Wexford's goal as well, when David Dunn ended up putting the ball in the back of the net. Long ball again from Mark Fanning, wasn't dealt with at all by Kilkenny's full-back line. David Dunn ran through and slotted it into the back of the net. For Kilkenny in particular, even the likes of Adrian Mullen, I thought was impressive at different stages. Richie Reid, fantastic with 2 points. James Bergen, who came off the bench in extra time, just added that bit of impetus for Kilkenny with 2 points. Their bench definitely made a massive difference. And Walter Walsh as well, obviously getting that goal late on, of course, in the second half, scoring 1-1. For Wexford, I thought they'd done a great job on the puckouts, to be fair. They won 32 of their 46 puckouts, which was actually, a lot more compared to Kilkenny. I think Kilkenny won like 25 of their own puckouts. So I think Wexford done a fairly good job on those puckouts. And Lee Chin was definitely phenomenal at different points. Like, obviously, he got a lot of points from place balls, but 15 points in total, I thought was very, very impressive. And, even the likes of Conor McDonald as well, chipping away, Rory O'Connor at different stages. And like what I said before, I thought Matthew O'Hanlon done a great job on TJ Reid, to be fair to him. And the likes of the Liam Murphy as well, who I thought was absolutely, or Liam Ryan, I should say, was absolutely fantastic at different stages in this game as well. Or Paul Murphy, I should say, getting my names mixed up there. Paul Murphy was brilliant, especially I think he hit one or two really fantastic scores late on in the game. And he was tremendous. He really, really was. A few comments coming in there. Sharon says good win for Monaghan today. Yeah, it was a good win. Fair play to Monaghan. Haven't seen that game yet, but it'll definitely be interesting to go back and have a look at that. I suppose it's going to be interesting now in general to see Kilkenny Dublin. Look, listen, I know Kilkenny will be the favourites and rightly so. You just couldn't see the same level of performance from Kilkenny that Galway produced today. You'd have to say that Kilkenny will really show up. They'll bring the intensity, and they were very convincing in front of goal. Like I said before, 78% of their of their opportunities went over the bar. So you would have to feel that they'll have enough to beat Dublin in that Leinster final. But certainly Dublin will go in there with a lot of confidence. They beat the team that I think many people had as favourites. And a part of me wanted Wexford to win because I don't know when it was the last time that either Kilkenny and Galway weren't in a Leinster final. It would have been very interesting to have a Dublin and Wexford Leinster final. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Dylan Duffy there says, are you watching the Ukraine versus England game in the Euros? Great to see fans back. Yeah, look, listen, hopefully Ukraine can do us all a favour and get that win, but it probably won't happen. But we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But yeah, I think in the end, to conclude, fair play to Kilkenny for getting the victory. Wexford, they fought so hard throughout the game. They tracked so much, they expended so much energy throughout the game. They really did. And their running game at different stages as well was just fantastic. Like running through the middle, the likes of your Gavin Bailey's or Liam Og McGovern, I thought as well, really, really brilliant at different stages in the game. Sean Murphy as well, another very, very talented hurler, of course, as well. So and Mark Fanning, of course, getting that goal from the penalty, really well taken goal as well. So Wexford will cause a lot of problems, I think, now going into the qualifiers. I think they're it's not like the Wexford of last year where they looked like they kind of threw the towel in. They just didn't have those same energy levels. They were beaten very, very easily through a lot of different games. And certainly, I think going into the qualifiers now, they'll certainly cause a couple of problems, I think, for whoever they come up against, be it maybe a Waterford or potentially even a Galway. We'll have to see what happens there. But yeah, for Wexford, they'll certainly cause problems, and they've definitely shown the tenacity that they didn't show last year. Jack Nulty there says, showed Kilkenny aren't far off, and Cody is a star in the making. There's hopes for future. They won't be far off. Yeah, I mean, look, listen, Kilkenny won the Leinster Championship last year, and if they win it again this year, for a team that's, apparently, for Brian Cody, who's apparently going to be leaving, and that's the rumour mill, obviously, and for a lot of players getting older and a young team and not being on the same wavelength of a Limerick or a Galway, Kilkenny win that Leinster Championship, and all of a sudden they go in as, they go into another All-Ireland semi-final again, and, then they're within a whisker. And, you forget 2 years ago they beat Limerick, of course, in an All-Ireland semi-final. So, like, Kilkenny they're kind of going under the radar a little bit. They're dark horses in many ways, which sounds crazy for Kilkenny, because normally you'd associate it with Kilkenny with being one of the favourites, but they're just slipping under the radar quite a lot. And, playing Dublin, of course, and Kilkenny usually obviously hit the ball quite long, so I think that will suit them as well. I think it'll be tough for Dublin to really overturn them. But certainly going into an All-Ireland semi-final, if they got past Dublin, I mean, there's a real chance for Kilkenny to maybe go and win the All-Ireland. It's definitely not impossible. And, I think they'll definitely fancy their chances more so playing Dublin than a Galway. But look, listen, hopefully the Dubs can win the Leinster Championship and do something, quite crazy, a bit like 2013 when we beat Kilkenny and Galway en route to winning the Leinster Championship. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But anyways, we'll go ahead and wrap this up here. There'll be a match reaction straight after the Cork and Limerick game as well. Limerick winning that at the moment by 6 points. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, I'll see you